When we see a successful person, we often forget where they started from. We only see the fame, money, and glory. But what does all these successful people have in common? How do they separate themselves from the rest of us? Simple. Books. In this video, I will be giving tips on how you can get started in reading books right now. Because personally, I was not a big reader myself, but eventually I built up a plan and gradually built up my way on reading books. And I will be recommending some books that I think that will be a great starting point for your journey on reading books. I just want to start with a warm thank you to everyone who watched the previous video. If you haven't checked it out yet, please check it out. I don't know where it is, but check it out. And I just want to thank you guys with a positive response on the previous video. If you're new to this channel, I'm Elijah Menendez, and this channel is all about bringing content to my fellow teenagers to take advantage of the tools and opportunities they have to turn their dreams into reality. I'm still new in the YouTube thing. I'm still learning the ins and outs of editing. I'm still getting used on the marketing side of sharing my video and stuff. I'm still getting used on talking to the camera, because I know I don't look like I'm kind of shy, but I'm get like a little stiff when I'm talking to the camera. It's kind of weird just staring at the camera. But enough about my chit chat. Let's get this video started. Most of us view books as a nerdy hobby and a waste of time. Not only that, our school program forces us to read books that we have no interest at all. Now, this is a subjective opinion. You might have enjoyed reading books, but in my experience, if I ask a high school student they like the assigned book that their teachers gave them, 8 out of 10, they probably don't like the book at all. But they must read it because they have to write an analysis about the book, engage in a classroom discussion about it. You know what I'm talking about. Most high school students I've talked to seem like they have a trauma on reading books. The school tries to encourage us to read books by assigning required books to read in our English curricular. And I'm not even talking about APUS history. You know how much you have to read, then take notes. A study was made by Statistic Brain Research Institute. 33% of high school students and 42% of college students will never read another book after they graduate. Personally, I'm not surprised at all. Why? Well, this is my speculations. Now, you don't have to listen to me on this part. You can skip to this tagline if you don't want to listen to this. Alright, so I'm editing the video right now, and this part right here is just a little bit cringe, but this part right here is kind of important because this is the part where I talk about why we hate reading books. But one of the things that inspired me to put this in the video is because of Fahrenheit 451. It's a book. It's about this firefighter and they burned book. It's pretty good. It is a pretty good book. I'm pretty sure you guys read it. Depends on what school district you were in. But yeah, I'm being kind of hypocrite right now, but let's keep this going. Alright. If you want to hear my wild, out of this world speculation, here it is. The school system is purposely requiring us books that we are not interested in to wire our brains to hate books. Not that we have no desire on reading books at all. We miss out on self-development books, financial books, and many more. And with this effect, it will balance out the society by just having regular people and then those people who read books. It is a wild speculation. It is crazy, I know. But anyways, how does this relate to the topic? Well, this is the foundation why you should start reading books. Because when you read books, you get that dough. You get that dough, and not just the crust of the pizza. That's not even a good analogy, but you know what I mean. Like, you get the knowledge to its purest form. So what are the books that I recommend you starting with? These books vary from self-development books and financial books. But before that, I want to give tips on how you can finish books and start enjoying books. First, set a time. This tricks our mind to continually do this consistently. We will just automatically do this when we get used to it. Second, gradual reading. What I mean by that is you can start with one page at the first day and that's it. You won't read anything else. And every single day you progress, you add two pages, 3 pages. That's how I started reading books, because you're not gonna get any benefit on reading a whole bunch of pages in one day and then for a few weeks you won't read. You need to be consistent so you get the most out of the book that you're reading. Third, use a journal to write down things that you think is important. Now, you don't have to do the things that we do in class where you have to write an analysis and then you need to know like why did this author use this and that. It's crazy, but just write out things that you think is important. And lastly, have fun. The school wired our brain that reading books is an obligation. But I know not every teacher like that or everyone is like that, but it's just the majority on the message that you get. It's just you need to read books because you need to pass the class. First book that I would recommend is Attitude is Everything by Keith Harrell. Now, one of the most unforgettable lines that I won't forget on this book is NBA, Natural Born Abilities. This was the first mindset book that I read. I remember reading this book at 8th grade. I had no interest at all on reading books, but my dad encouraged me to read this book. So why should you read this book? This book talks about attitude on things and being more, always seeing the positive and the negative. And you will appreciate the other books that I'll be recommending, so I really recommend for you to start on this book. The second book that I recommend is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, you've probably seen me read this book. I carried this book all around during the school days and I was just reading it. Probably seen me reading it in English class. This book will change your mind on how to handle money. It also introduces you to investing and then the 4 quadrants of where people is financially. Now, there's a lot of versions of this book. I will be linking down in this description below 2 different versions of this book, and it's up to you if you want to read it. But I definitely recommend this read because it will change your point of view on how the society works financially. It's a great book overall and it will help you how to handle money correctly. The third book that I would recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I'm currently reading this book. I'm on chapter 4 or 5 right now. And I can stress enough how it made me aware of how every human has a tendency to talk about themselves. The book contains 6 ways to make people like you, 12 ways to win people to your way of thinking, and the 9 ways to change people without arousing resentment. I literally just read the back page of the book. I don't want to spoil the book, but it's a great book to read. Definitely worth reading this, especially in this quarantine right now. You have nothing else better to do. Read this book. The last book that I would recommend is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I personally wish I read this book later because it has just so much information in it that I probably missed it out because I wasn't really that serious in reading book before, and I'll definitely read this book once I get through all the books that I'm reading right now. This book introduced me with a handful of principles that will help you from your mindset and business thinking. What I learned in this book is to never give up, learn to make no excuses, and view the positive and the negative. Alright, to summarize all the books that I recommend, the first one is Attitude is Everything by Keith Harrell. Second one is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And the third one is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Alright, the last book that I would recommend is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's about it for today's video. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. If you haven't liked this video and you got value out of it, smash that like button. If you want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe. I would appreciate it a lot. My plan is to upload every week, but it is very hard and time consuming to edit videos. If you guys are watching this and you guys do some video edits, I would love to collaborate with you guys to help me out with my edits so I can produce more content. From my previous video, I said I will always be finishing off my video with a quote, and today's quote came from Plato. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. So if you guys, this is the best time now to make progress with your dreams. Chase that dream, do it, try it. Don't be afraid to try new things. It's your boy Elijah Mananis signing out. Students, if they enjoyed the assigned, if they enjoyed the book they on reading, on getting started. Woo! Successful person. We often oh, okay. That is just too fast. That's too fast.